Hello, everyone. Come in, hit that like and share button. Let's share the love, share the broadcast, and at the same time, simultaneously show some appreciation for the knowledge that you're about to receive to help you prepare for the greatest wealth transfer that this generation has ever experienced, like literally ever experienced. I have my throwback shirt on today. Just want to wear this shirt, so I got my throwback Queen of Credit from doing credit repair shirt on. If you're watching on Facebook, hit that like button, hit that thumbs up, share the broadcast as well, and on YouTube you can share on YouTube as well. You can share on YouTube as well. I'm getting some text messages, so I might try to cut my phone off. Hopefully, I'm not getting that many texts while I'm live streaming. But real quick, let me adjust this. I switch this over. Give me 1 second. Real quick, two things I want to discuss. Number one, Will Roundtree. Will Roundtree. He dropped a very powerful video about that LLC you purchase means nothing. The LLC you purchase means nothing. Why I want to talk about that is because so many people, even when I'm talking to them about the home-based business, and the first questions they give me oftentimes is, um, you know, do I need to start an LLC to get in the home-based business? Do I need an EIN? Or some people already have an LLC and they ask things like, do I need to put my existing LLC information in, or do I need to enroll or sign up as a sole proprietor? And now I'm going to break down why it probably doesn't matter. I know you all think that having an LLC, it sounds real good to say, I'm a business owner, but I'm going to share with you all why. If you don't have your LLC structured and set up and systematically done, right? Because with the home based business, to be honest with you, once you get started, if you're not making $10,000 or more, you don't even need an LLC. And there's some more things I'm going to share with you all about having an LLC because most people, they don't know how to leverage and use LLCs or corporations to get business funding, to get higher capital. They don't know how to leverage and use it to get business credit. And my thing is, if you're not going to leverage credit to get assets, my nails are so long I can't even. Then your LLC is really just something on paper, but you're not utilizing in a powerful way to help you financially. It's just something on paper. If you're not filing taxes on corporations, it's just something on paper. It's not positioning you to help you financially. And in those cases, if you don't have your LLC set up the correct way, or you don't know the systematic way, right, to build your business credit, then it's best to just start off with a home-based business if you're a sole proprietor, or if you're an employee. Or if you have an LLC, do you have in your operations agreement legally structured the correct way to protect you from lawsuits, from losing any of your assets, from receiving personal lawsuits that come against you personal? A lot of people do not have their operations of incorporation agreement structured properly, right? So they either pay someone who's just talking about you need to set up a holding company, and they're not doing the taxation the correct way, and um, they are they just have it in existence, but they're not benefiting anything. They're not making any money from it profitable. They're not leveraging it to get credit, to get business credit under their business name. And so I'm going to share clips with you from Will Roundtree that really break this down. And another thing, um, they are still buying outdated courses that people are selling them about net 30 account, people, it's 2022. A lot of those rules have changed and the information is outdated. And you're still purchasing it, right? So also I'm going to get into the economy, but I'm going to share this story with you on the topic of LLCs and corporation, why this is important. I have 4 LLCs and I had an S Corp. I have an S Corp. And my real estate is in my S Corp. And so I didn't get the correct tax advice. I didn't know the correct knowledge to ask. And so under my S Corp, what I did was I got the deed of a lot of my real estate rolled over. And this is my rental real estate rolled over into a trust. But I still had an S corporation and I had a business account set up under the S corporation, but I was not filing taxes on that S corporation. And so I received a letter that the corporation was dissolved. Now, I also have um, a LLC established in Wyoming, the state of Wyoming as well, Wyoming as well. But this is my home state, the LLC in my home state. I mean, the S corporation in my home state. So I went to my personal friend, and she's a tax uh, preparer, right? It's a difference. People that can give you tax strategies and people that can help you prepare taxes. Please listen to me when I tell you this. When people just prepare your taxes, they look at the W-4 you bring them, they look at the adding and subtracting, the accounting, but they cannot give you tax education or tax planning. They're just tax preparers. They do the tax work, right? They can't offer you the educational component. And so she said, "Oh, I can easily help you reinstate this S corporation. All I have to do is just do this." And well, guess what? I received a letter in the mail from the state that I owe 3-year back taxes, right? And so her comment to me was, well, I thought you paid taxes on this corporation. I said, well, no, I didn't do that with my LLCs. I didn't know that the S corporation, the LLCs tax fees are differently, right? I said, I'm not really using this S corporation. It's dormant. I'm not making money off of it. I have a bank account set up in his name, but I don't use it. It's not a lot of money in the bank account. And so I was in a position where I owed thousands of taxes because I went to a person who knew about tax preparation, right? But not tax education. And so this was in the thousands of dollars of 3 years of taxes. So I had to pay the cost and find out the hard way. And she got educated. I hope she doesn't do this with her future clients. But it was at my expense that if someone has an S corporation, that they are to file corporate fees or pay corporate fees annually or zero return. Now, if you have a different corporation, for example, and maybe you are buying vehicles wholesale and you're selling them retail, well, those taxes are due quarterly or they will automatically dissolve your corporation or send you a statement that you owe taxes, right? So I wasn't under that umbrella of having it quarterly have to file and update taxes. So all I knew it was dissolved, and I'm like, well, I do have a checking account in his name. I'm not doing any business with it. 3 years back taxes cost me thousands of dollars for a corporation that I was not even using, but because it was an S corp and not an LLC, the back taxes applied when it was reinstated. And because she was a tax planner, right, and she did tax preparation, she didn't know the tax education behind it and the ramifications. So I'm sharing knowledge with you all at my expense. Now let me say this. It cost me thousands to get the knowledge that I just shared with you, that lesson. But people will take things like this for granted. And Will Roundtree brings this out as well. They don't appreciate free information. They just like the entertainment part of it, right? Something that Will Roundtree said that really, really stood out to me was there's three books that he highly recommend that people read if you really want to do this entrepreneur process the correct way. Number one, Think and Grow Rich. I highly recommend that as well. In fact, you can listen to it on YouTube, audio version, right, for free. Number two, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Another free audio booklet on YouTube. And you need to listen to these more than one time. Because your subconscious mind or your upbringing, you have to detox that thinking. Whether your parents or whoever raised you, whatever your culture was, taught you directly or indirectly. You need to erase, especially if you're struggling financially, everything that you subconsciously learn about how to handle money and finances. Or maybe you learned it consciously, right? But there's not a lot of middle class, lower middle class, or upper middle class individuals that has had opportunities to sit down with their parents at the table and talk about money and finances like rich and wealthy people do, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, because it all starts with your paradigm, your financial knowledge, and cash flow quadrant. Now, if I had a fourth book that I would recommend people read, I would add Napoleon Hill's How to Outwit the Devil. I would definitely add that one because that will give you a whole other understanding and concept of how religion and school systems keep people in poverty or keep people living paycheck to paycheck. They keep people in bondage not only financially, but spiritually and mentally. Now, when someone first introduced the book to me, How to Outwit the Devil by Napoleon Hill, I thought it was like, I was like, no, because I was very religious. I was very much in church, pre-K, preacher kid, right? I'm like, no, I'm not reading any type of, I thought it was like a witchcraft book, maybe. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was like witchcraft. And then when I actually read the book, it was very common sense. Nothing witchcrafty about it. Nothing evil about it. Just a very intelligent, eye-opening, brain detoxing information on how the school system and religion keeps people in bondage. So that would be my recommendation. Now, another thing I wanted to address, and we're going to go into about the FEDS warning about the upcoming depression. I had someone to make a comment on my YouTube channel. Let's see if I can pull that up. And the comment was that Queen is going to whip people into, let me see if I can put it up. I'm going to whip people into shape or something. And Queen finna pull out that financial belt. Y'all better listen. That was the comment, right? Queen is going to pull out the financial belt. Y'all better listen. And I made a comment to that person. No, I'm not. I'm not about to pull out a financial belt for anyone. Right. I'm not about to, I'm very passionate what I talk about. But me pulling out a financial belt, trying to get people to see when gas is spiking back up, when they're saying Hurricane Ian out of Florida is going to cause inflation, price increase on products. I'm not pulling out the financial belt for anyone. Either you want it or you don't. Right? Queen finna pull out the financial belt. Y'all better listen. And I kind of, get what that person was saying. But hey, I'm not going to beg. I'm not going to seriously warn. I'm not going to get upset if people just listen to me and they go back to their old ways financially. That's your financial life. It is not mine. As the Bible says, as for me and my house, right? I have a daughter to make sure that she's covered in this, and that's it. Because I faithfully come on this live stream and I help people financially. I help people attain assets, improve their credit and cash flow. I'm not going to have a heart attack, stroke, seizure, or high blood pressure trying to make people prepare. Either you want it or you don't. Either you're going to get financially richer in this recession or you're going to get financially poor. That's it, point blank, period. I said, I responded, no, I'm not. People are grown. They do what they want. I wouldn't dare try to whip someone into having a mindset to prepare. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I mean that wholeheartedly. Too many people want the edutainment, mean they want to get educated and entertained at the same time, but they don't want to take action. And that's your choice. But let me share some information with you. As Mr. T would say, I pity the fool, right? That you can take heed to, or you can continue to do what you're doing and think the economy will not get worse and don't prepare. So China is headhunting former British pilots to train its forces, right? So China is getting former British pilots to train its forces, and the UK military is desperate to stop it. So this is a jet fighter in the sky before the upcoming, this in China. People, this is actually in 2021. A photo taken. The UK and its military pilots are being recruited by China to help train Beijing's army. So sounds like World War III. A Ministry of Defense official told Insider the country is trying to stop these efforts. According to British media reports, pilots are making as much as $270,000 a year for their help. Again, the UK is trying to stop China military from recruiting current and former military pilots for training purposes, a defense official said. But this has been going on for it's been having a tough time in doing so. So if China's preparing for something that seems like could be World War III, in wars, there's big wealth transfer, drop. The poor gets poorer, right? Uh, the rich get richer, and the middle class get poorer, right? And the middle class get poorer. Thank you so much, Nate, for tuning in. Thank you, Miss Bowles, for these kind words. I really appreciate you sharing the real game. People don't wait. Take heed. You'll be regretting. Thank you, Miss Bowles. Thank you for tuning in also out of California as well. Now, some good news. Not just all doom and gloom. I'm assuming it's good news as long as people are not taxed on this. 8 million student loan borrowers is notified. I wasn't notified. Where's my notification? Because I went to school with degrees in education, right? More than one. But notified 8 million student loan borrowers that they do not need to apply for debt cancellation and their relief will be automatically processed. So, good news as long as individuals are not taxed on their forgiven debt. However, I've heard that some states will apply taxes to the student loan debt. I don't know how that's going to apply in whatever state that you live. You can Google and do your own research at your leisure. But again, millions of student loan borrowers will need to take any action to give President Joe Biden student loan debt cancellation. So Monday, the Education Secretary formally launched the application for up to $20,000 in student loan forgiveness per borrower. It's a simple form. It is very simple, y'all. Right? If you have not went to that website and you have student loan debt, see if you qualify. It is very simple. So the application for up to $20,000 student loan debt forgiveness, it's a simple form, and it really do take less than like 5 minutes to fill out. So you put in your basic um, contact information like your name, email address, social security numbers. But about $8 million, million borrowers, that 5 minutes might be saved. So drop in a comment if you got notification that you was one in the 8 million. Let me know if you were one in the 8 million that have already been notified. And hopefully, again, that money is not taxed, because if it's taxed, that means it will just count as taxable income for you. Now, another thing going forward in the recession talk that I want to share. Nate says China is trying to take their land, as they say. What land? Nate, let me fill me in on that. What land are they trying to take? That's theirs, or that the sand is theirs. China already has a lot of land in the United States. Did you all know that? Especially California. So this is really about, in my opinion, it's about just going ahead and causing a global depression. People need a reason, right? And so, causing a global depression that's going to reset the currency system, and that's going to change globally physical cash to digital cash. Virtual, not digital, because digital will be like credit cards, but virtual cash. But Nate, more so, China already has a lot of land in the United States. This article, for example, was just released August of this year, 2022, August 12th. Is that why China owning U.S. land is a bigger deal than you think? So Securing America's Farmland and Foreign Interference Act, and the Chinese company Fu Feng Group purchased farmland just 12 miles of North Dakota. Also, they already, own a lot of real estate here, rental property, and a lot of land in California as well. A lot of ports in California. And so this is 370 acres of land. The Chinese food manufacturer also purchased in Grand Forks, North Dakota, right? And so let's see. And China's the third largest foreign buyer in the United States land, behind Canada and Mexico, spending people $6.1 billion last year. So China has accounted for 2% of foreign purchases. Also in Florida last year, right? In Florida as well. So a lot of our imports, with the major ship in China already owns much of that, and they're buying up more real estate. So a lot of United States, and now this farmland in North Dakota. So China already owns a lot of the United States. So, also China owns, also, let me show it to you on the data, just how much, you know, they own already. China's later land purchase could pose a major U.S. security. So this article was released August 3rd of 2022. And according to this article, I didn't have this plan to talk about, but I just saw your comment. Again, 300 acres in North Dakota for $2.6 million, and it intends to establish a milling plant. So This is China's amount of location of foreign buyers. So I don't think, in my opinion, that's not what the war is about. They already own over 191 acres of land in the United States as well, and that was before the North Dakota land deal this spring, 191, and Chinese ownership of United States farmland kept more was from 81 million. That was started like in 2010. So yeah, China's been China. You know, China's like tell the United States, who's your daddy? Not only do they own a lot of land in the United States, they own a lot of gold, physical gold, and they started that when they also began to marry a lot of women out of Africa because through culture there, through culture when you marry women out of Africa, the male, the husband, is the owner of that land as well. So they've been sending their men to Africa to marry the women in order to gain access to more land and those rich minerals in the soil of Africa and those resources as well. So China been doing that for a long, long time. The only shock this is going to be is for people that have been prepared because this Great Reset has been planned for a long time. Okay, the FEDS, Evans says fighting inflation is top priority, even if that means job losses. This was released 8 days ago, October the 10th. Says, hey, even if, that means people losing their jobs and letting up as supply chain pressures ease, the Fed, still wants to continue to raise interest rates. And he said inflation needs to happen. Interest rates, this is their fourth consecutive 0.75 percentage interest rate increase. He said, you know what? Ultimately, inflation is the most important things, and even if that means job losses. So in essence, right? In essence, jobs are going to be lost. Chairman Jerome Powell had warned that they expect some pain from the Fed's inflation. And you know what? So people still they don't get it, right? They don't get it. They're not, and some people get it, but and let's be honest, the income is so low. Recession doesn't bother poor people, not that much. They're feeling it though at the gas pump. But if the government gave them gas cards like they do EBT cards, they wouldn't care. If they can get qualify for money to help them with their gas, like they do with their groceries, they wouldn't care. Right? It's the middle class that get hurt. Because unfortunately, poor working people income, they're used to living at a certain level anyway, right? And when they get assistance, they don't have a mindset, most of them, it's especially people that's usually on a fixed income. They don't have a mindset to make more money. And people, the goal is to work for your money and then put your money to work for you. If you ever want financial freedom, that people can have picket signs all they want to tax the rich. They're not going to tax the rich. It's not going to happen. Like your government is rich. I know some people think Democrats are poor. No, they're not. I know you don't think a Democrat could be a multimillionaire, but they are. Just Google Joe Biden's net worth. He's not middle class. Duh. He's not. And so to tax the rich will be to tax government, and that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. They are not going to tax themselves and put their family into poverty. So all the energy wasted by tax the rich, that's not gonna happen ever. I don't care what they tell you to get elected. That is not going to happen. Now, even more scary about a food famine coming is that the USDA announced $1 billion debt release. People, this is for 36,000 farmers. The federal government announced Tuesday a program that will provide 1.3 billion, not million, billion with a B, in debt relief for about 36,000 farmers who have fallen behind. So people, if farmers are falling behind on loan payments and face foreclosure, what do you think that means for the supply chain, for the food chain? If farmers are filing bankrupt, and as the OPEC oil and gas war trade happens, and they're cutting off, OPEC is Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Russia, Saudi Arabia is cutting off the oil supply to the United States, in which oil is used to make fertilizer to grow crops. What do you think this means for the future of the food and groceries? Not only are we going to see inflation, but you're going to see less food available, and the food that is available is going to be expensive. Even the quote unquote cheaper food is going to be more expensive because that's what people will go to, right? As their income is reduced or inflation increases prices or their jobs are lost. About 11,000, that's my number, foreign borrowers delinquent on direct or guaranteed loan payments for 60 days or longer are receiving automatic electronic payments to get them current on their loans. People, that's UBI, really universal basic income. Now, listen to this closely. Each farmer with a direct loan received about $52,000, and those with guaranteed loans received about 172. The total cost for just that group alone is about 600 million. And this is the thing. Most people tell people don't leverage debt or credit to gain, build a business or assets. People, the inflation of houses are so expensive right now. And it's so expensive to operate and run a business. Like that sounds good in theory to pay for everything cash, but that's not going to happen. Like houses have increased so much through pricing that if you want to even have a dream of being a home purchaser or a home owner, you have no choice but to go get a loan from the banks. Because the years it's going to take for you to save up to do that, you will never afford a house. You'll always be renting and not having access to equity, right? So let's get into Will Roundtree. That LLC means nothing. Will dropped a lot of game. I'm going to be pausing as you know, as much as I can to elaborate on some things, but a lot of it does not need elaboration. Again, you all come in, hit that like and share button. This is why I tell people it makes more sense, even if you're a business owner, to have a home-based business. Build up your residual income so that you can have the cash flow to get the credit and to make sure that you're doing your entity formation the correct way. Instead of paying someone thousands of dollars to form an LLC or S corp, or maybe they're telling you to get a holding company. People, is more to it than just that. All right, so let's listen in.
And so when I'm saying that the LLC that you just purchased is worthless, it's really me being funny, because what I'm really trying to convey is that you have to do more than have an LLC to get some funding. Like, there are other guidelines. Don't let people sell you on the fact of just having an LLC. Because here's the first thing. What's good, King Will? REI 90 Group 2 in the biddy. Peace. What's going on with you, family? So here's the thing with having the LLC. There's still data points that you need to have in place in order for the LLC to even have any value. Because here's the first thing that people don't tell you. In most states, you have an annual fee. So if you're going out there setting up 10 LLCs, and let's say you live in the state of California, that's $10,000 every single year in annual fees. Think about that. These are the things nobody wants to tell you.
And he is so true. You had these LLCs. I told you about my S corporation. It was back taxes. Hey, Patrice. Hey, hon. It was back taxes. And my friend who was a tax preparer just said, "How I know how to help you reinstate it because it was dissolved." Once she reinstated, because she knew tax planning and preparation, she didn't have tax education. I got a letter from my state, not Fed, saying you owe thousands. It was 6,000 something in back taxes. And I asked her, I said, why didn't you tell me these were the repercussions? She didn't know. She did not know. So you all, I had to pay thousands to give you the knowledge I'm dropping right now. Learn from my mistakes so you don't go. So when our people are like, oh, I want to get an LLC before I join a home-based business, I'm saying why? Why? What's your purpose of wanting an LLC? Like Will Smith who said, if you're in California, for example, you have annual fees to pay, which can lead up to thousands. Thank you, Patrice. I was just studying some things about 1111 before I got on this live stream. I always study about 1111. Thank you so much for the 1111 super chat. According to Deuteronomy 111, I pray that that comes to you 1,000 times more and increase you. And guess what? It also says, and bless you, right? I had some notes. I get off on numbers. Yeah, I'm gonna say these notes about 1111 once we finish up with that, right? Once we finish up with that. But you all, that's so true. Now, I ask people, I'm like, why do you want an LLC? Because they heard someone on social media or YouTube tell them to get one. They have no clue. There are some instances where I would recommend, especially if you are working out of your home and you're providing services. But this is the thing, a lot of people work out of their house. They have no insurance protection, right? Like if I come to your home, get my nails did, and I leave and file on your doorstep, I can sue you. They have no type of protection for that, right? Or you do my braids and I fall and I slip and fall. No protection. Operating at a high risk of getting that house and everything else taken away from them. Or I have instances where people have a home-based business and they don't know about all of the tax deduction. And then they get with a tax preparer that don't know that they're entitled to over 470 tax deductions. And they leave so much money on the table from taxes. All right, but let Will finish.
They just told you to go set up that LLC and you'll get $100 million in business credit. These are the things nobody's telling you. Now they give you the very basic, the very surface level stuff, the stuff that the stuff that people say, oh, I can just Google. Yeah, the stuff that y'all are buying from a lot of these people, that stuff you can Google. But the stuff that we really teach, the stuff that I teach, the stuff that my brother ML Billions teach, you can't just Google this stuff. Like this is stuff you really gotta be in this. You have to really be in the trenches. You gotta have been locking arms with underwriters. The guidelines are constantly changing. Like they don't always give y'all this stuff. A lot of the times they've bought in our courses and now they're regurgitating it and getting a few clicks, and people are biting on their programs because they're cheap. Why would you even want the cheapest program if you saying you want $500,000 in funding? If you want $250,000, if you want $100,000 in business funding, why would you want the cheapest program? You want the program that has the best value. These are things nobody ever talk about. So that LLC you purchase is worthless if you don't have all of the other things in place outside of the website, outside of the business phone number, outside of the address. Things we've been teaching. I've been teaching people that 10 years ago. My son consults people on how to do those things. But see, one of the things nobody ever tells people how you get the real money, because it's levels when it comes to business funding. It's levels to this. And if y'all see me looking at two different screens, I got the YouTube chat, I got Instagram. It's levels to this. See, nobody ever talks about the income that LLC has to generate. Nobody ever talks about the income. Now, here's the thing. And let me give a disclaimer. 2022, can we use our house address still? I'll get to that. Here's the thing. This is not financial advice. I'm not a certified financial advisor. I don't want y'all tagging the police on me. But I will say your business has to have income. Is your company, are you showing income? Now, keep in mind, when you have an LLC, and if you have a 9-to-5 job, keep in mind that that income drives through one tax return through what's called a Schedule C. And what happens most often that people, because you don't pay any taxes on your 1099 income that goes through your LLC, you write everything off so that you don't have as much of a tax liability. So now you've just made your LLC that much more worthless because you're not showing any income.
Now that was a whole lot of bars he just dropped. And Patrice is a tax planner as well, so she can chime in with the comments because she actually do tax, tax returns and tax preparation, tax services. I don't. But what he said is so often people have an LLC and that goes on your Schedule C. They want to have all the write-offs because they don't want to owe anything. But doing so, if you're looking at this from a business perspective and business credit, you want to show that your business is profitable. You want to show, instead of it being negative, because like you said, you just made it worthless when you're showing your business is not in profit. And this is why I tell people before you just want to get that LLC, and there's so many things under the operations agreement, especially if you're putting your LLC in real estate and things of that nature. You need to make sure that your ass is covered so you can protect your assets. Right? So you oftentimes, thank you, Miss Ball, for the 999 super chat. I think I did something on the number 9 too. Thank you so much. I started keeping more organized notes on my numbers because I feel like that even if I left here one day, I would like it written somewhere so my daughter can reference and have that. But this is the thing, you all. You need to show that as being profitable, right? Yep, 9 is the number of finality or completeness. Yeah. Ushering in 9, a new era. Jesus died on the 9th hour of the day. 9 is a pioneer number, and it's ushering in a new era, a number of completion of ending an old era. So 9 is also for inner vision, right? Also, Ms. Bowles, Acts 10, about the vision of the number 9. It happened in the 9th hour. 9 represents a spiritual transformation and also an energy transformation. In Christ's death, he died on the 9th hour. That represented a spiritual transformation from the physical body and also an energy transformation. Also in Acts chapter 10, read that, Ms. Bone. about having it brings about a vision also. Number 9. Right. Thank you, Patrice. You show profit. See, it's just so many things people are not ready for when they enter into this world. That's why I tell people, Dave Ramsey teach you baby steps that I don't think, especially for 2022, I think is very outdated. Right. I do think, and Will is going to get into this, that you need to have funds that you can grab in case that you need quick access to cash. You need to have that. You don't need to be living paycheck to Monday, meaning you get paid Friday and Monday you're broke again. Right? You need to have a stash for unexpectancies, whether those unexpectancies are good or bad. Not all unexpectancies have to be a bad thing. You might unexpectedly have to, take a trip, travel because of a good event, something, good or great happened, right? I don't know. Maybe, So you should have that stash set aside for the unexpected, whether they be good or bad.
Which leads to my second thing is that you got to have tax returns. Nobody is filing taxes. So even if your LLC didn't make money, but you haven't filed taxes, your LLC is worthless. Just like that seasoned corp that you've invested in. That seasoned LLC that you paid $10,000 for, that's 37 years old, is worthless, fam, if it doesn't have tax returns and income attached to it. History means nothing to the banks when there's no income. Somebody put that in the chat. The history of your company that you've invested in, the history of that shelved LLC means nothing if it has no income. You have to file the taxes. Now, if you have a shelved corp that you've invested in, you can file back taxes on it. A lot of people didn't know that. You can file back taxes, but here's the thing. You have to pay to play, which means you're gonna have to owe the IRS something. But I would rather owe them $10,000 to show 150,000 worth of income to be able to go and get $250,000 in funding, because I can make payments on my tax bill. I can use my credit to pay my tax bill if I need to. So we have to start looking at, it's a strategy in place, and the LLC by itself means nothing. That shelf corp you've invested in that you spent thousands of dollars for means nothing. Yes, the basics, having an address, a phone number, everybody know how to do that. Everybody know how to do that. But that LLC you purchase is worthless without income and tax returns. Period. You said it right. There is worth billions, what you said. Absolutely. And thank you for pointing that out. And I had to come on here because, again, I actually care about the information. Because now people who are close to me, because here's the thing that I've learned. Appreciate the badges, Cal. Here's one of the many things that I've learned. The people closest to you sometimes will not invest with you if you offer a product or service-based business, because they don't want you to know their personal information. And I could leave it at that, but I do kind of have, like, I got a big heart. Let me just put it like that. And I'm tired of seeing people get jammed up by people out here selling these, BS business credit hacks, these credit hacks, and it's jamming people up. Some people are going to get prosecuted in the next several years, and the rest of y'all just going to be in a worse financial situation because you're spending more money for outdated and irrelevant information. Whereas you could have just went directly to the source, spent one time, and you would have been in position. So that LLC you purchased, fam, means nothing if you don't show income, if you're not filing taxes, if you don't have a legitimate business. You got to know how to play the game. You have to know how to play the game. Stop just purchasing LLCs just for the hell of it. I don't care what you heard about a holding company and setting up an umbrella LLC and a series LLC. Like none of that stuff mean nothing if your companies aren't making any money. You just regurgitating some stuff you heard off the internet. And I'm gonna just be brutally honest with y'all. This is why people laughing at us. We think we've come up. We think we've found something new. No, these strategies have been around. So we at least want to play the game the right way. This is why when you're going to the banks and you're getting denied with your 15-year-old shell of corp that you've invested in, because you're not structured properly. You don't have the right paperwork. You haven't filed taxes. You're not showing any income. We need another Chris Cole interview, family. Absolutely. Me and Chris Cole working on something right now. What is your thoughts? My tax man said, let go of my LLC until I've made a certain amount of money. I can't say let go of your LLC because I don't know what your strategy is. But if you actually have a strategy put in place, you keep it. You keep it. You keep it.
And I just want to say this. Yeah, you are. Thank you, Patrice. Get the likes up. A lot of people ask me about Queen. I need LLC to start the home based business. No, you make 10,000. Then we start making 10,000 in the home based business. You can then convert it to an LLC. But right now, you just need the money you're currently making to be taxed less. Employees are taxed people anywhere from 28 to 33%. That means you're bringing home approximately 67 cents to 70 cents on the dollar of every dollar that you're making. My friend guy and I was having this conversation before the live stream. People say, I want to invest. I want to invest. I want to invest. You don't have the money to invest yet. You don't. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you have got to get your money up. The first place to start in getting your money up is getting the money back that you're paying out in taxes. And this is the home-based business strategy. I know you think you're going to put $100 in Shiba Inu and in 6 months you're going to be a multimillionaire. I know you think you're going to drop 200 in Dogecoin, those meme coins, those community coins, and you're going to wake up a multimillionaire. People, let me tell you this. When people dropped $100 in XRP and became a multimillionaire, XRP had not hit the major exchanges yet, meaning it was not even on Coinbase. It was not a public offering. It was a private coin. It was a private crypto. The odds of you doing that through cryptocurrency, through a famous coin, I'm not saying it won't happen. But it's not going to happen overnight. I can tell you that. And it's probably going to take some years, 2 to 3 years, and not years. So in the meantime, what are you going to do while inflation is increasing? You're living paycheck to paycheck. And there's no guarantee that Sheep or Doge is going to, excuse me, be these, multi-millionaire makers. Because they don't have use cases yet. All right, so let me let them finish.
But without me knowing your situation, I can't say. This is why we got to have people who we hire as professionals to teach us these things. Now, if your end goal is growing your business, your tax person doesn't know finances necessarily. This is why I say when you're doing your taxes, find a tax strategist that understands financing. Not all tax strategists understand financing. They understand taxes. These are completely different scenarios. And this is why I say you have to have an A team when it comes to creating what it is you're looking to create. This is why a lot of times people like to do business with my company and my team, because we give you access to all of those resources. If you are not a part of the ecosystem, we don't just give out our resources because people burn the plugs. You got to be a part of our ecosystem. You have to have invested in one of our programs. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars vetting out the people who I recommend to my ecosystem. We don't just give it away. Just like when you have a good shoe connect, you don't just give it away to anybody. They have to be a part of your circle. What books would you recommend on financing and financial literacy? I mean, it depends on what it is you're looking to learn. And here's the thing: I think that a lot of times when we say what book should we read, it's really more about we have to figure out what our end goal is, and then find something that's going to be identifiable on whatever your particular strategy is of what you're trying to accomplish. And I personally say it's not the financing books that's going to change how you deal with money. It's the books that teaches you personal development that's going to give you a better outcome. So Think and Grow Rich should be one of the first books that you read. Rich Dad Poor Dad should be one of the first books that you read. The Cash Flow Quadrant should be one of the first books that you read, because you have to completely change your entire you have to have a complete paradigm shift about how money works. Whenever somebody comes to me and say, "Oh, I'm gonna save up to do that," that lets me know they don't know anything about how money or business works. See, let me tell you the difference between wealthy people and poor people. And I'm using the term poor as people who pass over opportunities repeatedly. How did you find your team? Through trial and error, people who I've invested in, networking. For people who play at a high level, we invest a lot of money to get into to different rooms, and sometimes we pay just to play to get into those rooms. This is how a lot of people have built their network. See, here's the difference between how wealthy people do business and how poor people do business. Dwayne, what's going on, fam? See, wealthy people, we don't use the words like, "Oh, I'm gonna save up to get my website," or "I'm gonna save up to join your program." Wealthy people say, "I'm gonna go and borrow and leverage my credit to purchase that building. I'm gonna leverage my credit to make sure I have a budget for legal fees. I'm going to leverage my credit to be able to pay for a new virtual assistant." Because the last time I checked, 55+% of Black and minority families have less than $500 in savings. How are you going to save up if we don't even have a savings? Think about that. How do you save up when you don't have a savings?
I think I'm gonna end the live stream right there. How do you save up when you do not have a savings? Right? That's called poor, passing over opportunities repeatedly. I'm going to put the link to this video. You can watch it in its entirety because I do recommend that. It's 41 minutes in length. If you want to, watch the rest of it, again, I do recommend you do that. And because it's just too many people going here forming LLCs, whether they're going on LegalZoom, whether they're buying somebody products, whether they're purchasing a holding company, and you're not getting funding from it because you're not claiming it on your taxes and you're not showing that it's making any money. So it's not doing you any good. And a lot of people, think for a home-based business, I want an LLC, I get started when I get it. You don't even need it. You need to have profitable cash flow. And to get profitable cash flow first starts with getting the money back that you're already making. That's the purpose of the home-based business. Or so you can help people who earn money through a W-4, and then you can earn extra money, additional money, and add it to the money that you're making. So now that you can start investing in the most inexpensive assets available right now, which are silver and cryptocurrency. Also, to get into silver, where you can get the asset at the same time and get extra income, where you can get gas money and government money, visit the website silver to get gold, GOLD.com. Um, you can become a wealth ambassador. It's 4 different levels. If you have any questions about that, you can text cash flow. And you can invest in the most under price, inexpensive asset that there is, with the exception of some cryptocurrencies. But if you're like me, I like both tangible and virtual assets, right? I like both tangible, I like God's money, and I like this new virtual money as well. I'm going to do a video this week about the blockchain and how powerful the blockchain is, and explaining exactly Web3, what Web3 technology is. I'm going to do that later this week, maybe Thursday. But I put the rest of that link to Mr. Will Smith right there. And again, to get your cash flow up, especially people in November, we are going to see spiking high prices. This is the 8th month. It is October. Octopus, the number 8. November is the Latin word for Nove, and it's number 9. I just talked about what number 9 means. Number 9 means a new era. It means a spiritual transformation and an energy transformation. November, we're bringing a new era. You're going to see higher inflation, higher gas prices, higher grocery prices. Let me break down number 11, 11 for Patrice as well. I promised to do that. So, 1111, the secret meaning of numbers, I just think is so powerful. And the blessings that you receive in return. Uh, And I'm reading something both ways. But did you all know the Greek philosopher Pythagoras brought this out, that all numbers have different vibrational properties, right? I'm telling you, numbers is more than just a writing, a scribing, right? They have different vibrational properties. And so, with that being said, 1111 is the master number. It represents insight, intuition, enlightenment, and the universe, right? When connected to 1111, makes you more conscious and aware, right? So, 11, you're on the right path. You're being assisted by by the spirit, and you're in position to grow and expand. Stay grounded, however, at the present moment. But in Revelation 20, the Apostle John was given exactly 11 revelation of things connected to the final judgment. 11 is a new beginning. The 11th hour appears right before the start of a new day. Exodus 26 and 7. 11 curtains, new holy, a newness, a new holy tabernacle. Exodus 26 and 7, exactly as for 11 curtains. Um, Jacob had 11 sons. That 11th son was Joseph. Joseph was a dream interpreter, meaning he could see a spiritual awakening coming. He could see in futuristic terms the 11th son. Deuteronomy 11:11. I always talk about Deuteronomy 1:11. Deuteronomy 11:11 means a transition to a new life of abundance. Read that, Patrice. In the promised land, blessed with many resources. Now, I want you all to say this. I'm not talking to you if you didn't give. A lot of people take this and they try to apply it, but manifestation can only only can occur when you give to the person that gave you the revelation. This is what the church has been teaching it. Some, I have to be careful to say not all. Some churches have been teaching it wrong. They've been teaching that manifestation comes if you give to the person who did not give you the revelation. That's not true. You know, you cannot, for example, expect a Happy Meal if you pay Wendy's. You're going to get Wendy's food. You're going to get Wendy's, you know, product. You can't give to one place and expect the manifestation of the revelation that that person did not give you to happen for you. Or you cannot just say affirmations or prayers in the universe without connecting. That's one of the laws, the secret law of manifestation. It's not really a secret, but it's not taught. The law of connection, of collaboration. It goes like this in the Bible: when two or three touch and agree. See, the reason why you can give to somebody else and not get the manifestation of what I speak and teach, because the person you're giving to is not in agreement with you. They're not. Because they don't have the revelation that the infinite spirit, infinite God give me. So they can't be in agreement with you about something they don't understand. All right, Deuteronomy 11:11. You transition to a new life of abundance in the promised land. You are blessed with many resources, right? 11 also represents chaos, disorder, but it also represents at the same time a wealth transfer, a vision, as in Genesis 11, the Tower of Babel. It also represents an exchange of frequencies as well, right? So to Miss Bowles and Patrice, my hour is up. Thank you all for the 999 and 1111 super chat. I don't really get a whole lot of super chats, but when I do, what's that commercial? I don't when the man said I don't drink, what's it, those Sekis, whatever. I don't, but when I do, right, I really try to break down the numbers because I don't drink beer, but when I do, I said don't drink. Because I really do love it. I really do love numerology and the revelation from numbers, and especially from a biblical perspective, right? But I don't just do that. I try not to do it when people that don't deserve the knowledge, to give it to them. I give it when people give, then they get from me in return. That's why I keep it. Most people think they're supposed to get first, right? You don't get a smile from the mirror until you smile first. You don't get fire. It's getting cold. I don't know about you all. My neck of the woods in my state, it's going to freeze tonight. But you don't get fire from a fireplace unless you put the wood in first and take action to ignite a fire. So many people have it backwards. And Will Roundtree said this. If you watch the rest of that video, I think I did play the part where he said people that want things for free, they're going to pay more on the back end. You're going to pay more on the back end because when you do not invest in knowledge, the little you have will be taken away. Right? So when you don't invest in the person that's invested in you, that's going against the law of prosperity. When you don't feed what's feeding you, you in return will starve. But the person that's doing the feeding and the knowledge, they will be blessed because they did their part of transaction. You didn't do your part. And people, I can tell you some religious stories as well about me learning the hard way about identifying people who not to give to. That'll be a whole nother live stream. Also, this is outwitting the devil. Again, when I was so deep in religion, I really thought this was something about witchcraft. I thought the book of Enoch, when someone told me you need to study and read the book of Enoch, I thought that was witchcraft. I was so deep in religion. I had a religious mindset about everything. I was like, well, if it was meant to be in the Bible, God would have put it in there. But listening to this audio, changed my life. And there's nothing evil about it. The title may make you think that way, but I promise you, you listen to this, so much of your mindset, if you haven't already, is going to be shift and changed. And your life is going to be changed forever. So I recommend Outwitting the Devil and Think and Grow Rich and Rich Dad Poor Dad and the Cash Flow Quadrant. That's right, Patrice. Thank you all so much, Ms. Bowles. Thank you everyone that came in as well and said hello. I see why I really rock with you now. I appreciate you all rocking with me. And Miss Taylor, I'm trying to highlight everyone that said hello, you all. Love you all. Let's get up. Let's get our blessings up, our prosperity up, our mindset up, and our spirituality up. You all, we are blessed to be a blessing. We are royalty, right? A royal priesthood, a chosen generation. Let's walk like it, talk like it, look like it, and be like it for real. One another thing Will Roundtree said, because he dropped so much game, he's tired of trying to get people to secure the bag. He's trying to get people to get the bank. More of the bank's money, people. All right, you all, let's pray for this. Let's pray and prepare for the greatest wealth transfer that this generation has ever experienced. Let's make your family rich and wealthy, including yourself, right? Love you all. Queen